Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. GMAD, or Gay Men of African Descent, is the first African American organization designed to support the health of Black gay men in the U.S. The organization was founded in New York by a Pentecostal Reverend, Charles Angel, who would lead the initial committee meetings to grow the organization. I definitely want to know more about Reverend Angel and how a Pentecostal pastor became a gay rights advocate in the 1980s. GMAD started as a rotating weekly forum at the houses of friends and colleagues, then eventually evolved into a massive nonprofit organization. In the 1990s, GMAD was instrumental in building a national voice for Black gay men and collaborating with other Black LGBTQ organizations across the country to create political progress for Black gay people. GMAD's mission statement was to empower gay men of African descent through education, advocacy, health and wellness promotion, and social support. GMAD was also a space for the Black gay men in New York to educate themselves on HIV and AIDS treatment and prevention, which changed drastically throughout the 80s to the 90s and the 2000s. GMAD was also instrumental in collaborating with other Black gay and men's groups across the country to participate in protests to bringing attention to Black gay men's issues. GMAD supported protests against anti-LGBTQ legislation in the 1990s, particularly sodomy laws that criminalized gay sex and stigmatized gay relationships. It's easy to forget that throughout most of the 1990s in America, gay sex was still illegal, and being prosecuted could ruin someone's life. GMAD was also instrumental in organizing a vocal and visible contingency of Black gay men at the Million Man March in 1995. The Million Man March was a nationwide protest that brought millions of Black Americans, particularly Black men from all over the country, to march on Washington, D.C.'s National Mall to protest racism and police brutality in America. Because homophobia was and still is a problem for gay men in Black communities, it was incredibly brave and essential for Black gay activists working with GMAD to show up with their signs and t-shirts, proudly declaring they were Black gay men, amongst a presumably mostly heterosexual crowd, demanding a seat at the table for Black gay men's voices to be represented in discussions surrounding Black men in general. Many groundbreaking Black gay activists came together with GMAD at this march and would eventually start several organizations across the country that supported Black and gay identities, helping to organize a cohesive national movement for Black gay people that was visible in Black and heteronormative spaces as well. Since the 90s, GMAD became the premier Black gay community organization in New York throughout the 2000s and 2010s, and the organization was able to constantly grow their services and office spaces to accommodate the community. Over the years, GMAD had office spaces in Harlem, Chelsea, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, though the organization was solely voluntarily based for several years in its inception. By the 2010s, GMAD was hiring hundreds of employees to serve the community. GMAD was also a space that allowed for other Black and LGBTQ organizations to meet, particularly organizations for Black gay women. According to many websites online, GMAD closed its doors after the pandemic, citing funding issues, which is a shame, considering the organization's long history of supporting Black gay men's health initiatives and providing a space of communal support for so many years. I hope that in the coming years, GMAD or a place like it reopens and provides the social and mental health services we know are needed for Black gay men in New York during these tough times. I'm sure I'm only scratching the surface of GMAD's incredible legacy, and there could likely be a full-length documentary about GMAD's history in New York. I'd love to hear from my New Yorkers watching about their time spent at GMAD and the impact GMAD had on their community.